So here we are, the very first video that I'm actually putting together for a social media channel. I'm sure what's popular these days. If it's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Vine, isn't that a thing? Twitch. I can't even keep up with what's popular. The main reason I want to put this together, besides just not being able to be paid for not having a real job, number one, to be able to have very intelligent, funny, capable people who are articulate to get together and talk. And I've had so many amazing conversations with people over the years that majority of the time, whether drinking too much or not drinking at all, it's hard to remember what we actually talked about and points of contention, just worthwhile frames of reference and points of view that would really be worth hearing again or having other people hear for the first time. So I'm very excited to have a lot of the people that I know come over and just be able to have a conversation. I feel like every week it would be great to have a topic that we would want to talk about, and we would all put our point of view on it. Be able to kind of just take a glance of what's going on in the world, what's happening, what's popular, and just talk about it in a constructive atmosphere where anybody with a different point of view can have their point heard. And I have a dark sense of humor. I usually like the jokes where people don't laugh. They just kind of stare and say, "I can't believe you said that." But I want that to be an obvious point in what we're talking about, but not to the fullest extent. That's not what it's all about. I want there to be a sense of humor. I want people to be able to take a joke and not cry about it. And friend, if you're actually going to come over and be a part of this, can't imagine that happening. So anyway, looking forward to that. The other part of it is exactly where the name comes from, the pit bullies. So yeah, I have two pit bulls. I have taken some dog training classes. I was a professional dog trainer for a while, mainly sales, but really we're going to be looking at training these two pit bulls and getting them into shape, looking at the pit bull breed as a whole and breaking down the stigma that they have, why they have such a bad rap, and then also why and how that may also incorporate a social perspective for humans, maybe some races, some religions, some genders get a bad rap just right off the bat, and that's how they're viewed, and it's a stigma that they need to overcome. So that's going to be fun to not only train my two pups, but showcase how amazing pit bulls and just dogs in general can be. Third aspect, where pit bullies really comes from, is the rock and roll, heavy metal, regular metal, basically anything this day that actually has a guitar involved. The mosh pit. So rock and roll, heavy metal is far less popular today than it was when I was growing up, and probably when my dad and his friends were growing up, because that's what they had back in the day. They had instruments. You needed several people to play these instruments, and collectively together they made music. Well, with technology, we now have computers, and we can basically do everything that's needed to be done off of this thing. I can play guitar, I can play bass, I can play drums, I can sing, I can do everything off of this like $25 board and a computer. It's considerably easier to make music that doesn't require people to play an instrument. So it was kind of crazy even this last weekend watching the American Music Awards, and I don't really think there was even a band that was invited was there. I didn't watch very much, and actually Wayne Brady did play with the band, and his song was awesome. I loved his song, and then we started going into giving awards to people, and every song sounded the same. It was in 4/4 timing. It was slow. It was atmospheric. Anyway, I'm not here to trash a lot of the music that I've made and can make. What I do miss is rock music, guitars, drums, bass, vocals, and God, I can't even remember the last time I've been to a show. In what I'd like to showcase again is the atmosphere, the camaraderie, the ability, not the ability, the lifestyle, the camaraderie. I don't know, so many words, that I could choose, some that are on the tip of my brain and some that aren't, of a mosh pit, right? I think, especially in this day and age, a mosh pit, from people that I've spoken to over the years that aren't rock and roll or especially heavy metal fans, they view a mosh pit as just angry white men who want to hit and hurt each other. Now, I'm not necessarily going to disagree with that. I would say that a mosh pit is an outlet for men, especially, but men and women, people who are looking for an escape, who are looking for a place to let emotion out, let aggression out. I don't think most boxing gyms and MMA gyms at this point, of somebody hitting a punching bag, would say that these are violent, angry people. It's sport. So I think the mosh pit should be looked at as the same, because the mosh pit at a rock show, if you actually get in there, there's so much respect that's built into it, because the people that are there, the vast majority, and where this reference to the social media name comes from, Pippolies, there are seasoned, experienced, sanctioned people that have been going to shows for a long time. Let's take myself. I'm 37 years old. I think my first show was around 15. I've been to well over 300 rock shows, quite possibly more. It's fair to say that with 20 years of experience doing anything, you probably know a thing or two, as cliche as that sounds. But when you step into a pit, there's going to be a certain amount of people that are just like me, that have been doing this for years. They love this. This is what we do. This is an escape. This is an ability to let out some emotion, let out some aggression in a controlled and sanctioned way. So the biggest guys, the most dangerous guys, are not dangerous at all. We're there to make sure that everybody has fun. Typically, the mosh pit goes in a circle. We jump around when the music gets as exciting as it can be, and we take note. Not only are we participating, but we're watching, we're analyzing, we're seeing. We're going to make friends along the way of people that are there having a good time and also doing the same thing, making sure that everybody's safe. So if you get somebody that's jumping around a little bit too heavy, somebody that's maybe pushing a little bit too much, putting hands on somebody that's trying to escape, or just genuinely doesn't want to be in the movement at that moment, we will come up to you and we will tell you to relax, just chill out. We'll keep the flow. If anybody's throwing hands, we'll grab you, and we're either going to put hands on you more than you're putting hands on other people, or we're going to grab security and have them legally remove you. There's obviously a difference between somebody that works at the show that can take you out of there and somebody who cannot take you out of there. And a lot of times security knows who these people are. So that's where the actual name comes from, Pit Police, right? Pit Police. We're policing the pit. We're making sure that everyone's having fun, everyone's being safe. If a girl jumps in, now this is nothing against girls. I've seen some of the baddest women I've ever seen jump into a mosh pit. And boys will be removed by the women. But again, it's we know no matter how badass or how seasoned or experienced a woman is jumping into the mosh pit, you just bump her casually. You appreciate the fact that she's there. You appreciate how bad she is. You jump around with her. You don't go after her. You don't try to push her out. But a lot of relationships I've been in, women again, just a lot of times just think of mosh pit is like the worst thing ever. Like, oh my God, we're gonna go to a metal show like Lamb of God, Killswitch Engage, Motionless in White, Bullet for My Valentine, Slipknot. I'm not jumping in there. Are you out of your mind? I'm like, no. Like, you absolutely can jump and run and get in the circle. And I guarantee you, like, if any man or woman bumps you aggressively hard, watch what happens. There are people watching you. There are people there. And it's again, 20 years of experience of going to shows. So really what I'm excited to do is really showcase I'm still trying to think of that word, what the aura, what the lifestyle, what the atmosphere of a mosh pit is. And I want to look at it at, local shows where there's really nobody there. Maybe there's like 2 or 3 people trying to start it. Medium shows. Out here in Vegas, I would think, over time, like House of Blues. House of Blues might be able to have maybe 1,000 people at a certain point, and you really can't screw around at House of Blues because it's small. Even the vast majority of people are in the balcony seats in the bar around it. It's a very small showcased area. And in Vegas, I know, since that's where I've been for so long, a lot of times they have a ramp that runs right down the middle of the audience area. So basically what they do is they split one huge mosh pit into 2. And it's safer because there's 2 small mosh pits instead of 1. But you also have security that runs right down the middle that can easily hop the barrier, grab people that are out of control. So again, what people like myself and the pit police that are running the pit, making sure it's safe and it's fun and everybody can get out all their emotional and aggression that they want. Again, think of a boxing gym, MMA gym, Muay Thai gym, somebody that just hits a bag. Let it out. Life's not always easy, and we need an outlet. But you need an outlet to be respectful. You can't walk into a boxing gym, put on a pair of boxing gloves, and just wander around the gym and expect to just like punch people in the face, because somebody bigger and tougher than you is going to lay you out. And chances are that person that's going to lay you out is probably the nicest guy that's in the gym. Anybody that actually has some fighting or MMA, boxing, Muay Thai experience will know that chances are the nicest person that you could possibly meet in that gym is the most dangerous person there. And essentially that's really the route we're going. So I want to showcase a lot of the shows, a lot of the local bands. I want to highlight I don't even want to say real music, because all the music that's out these days, it has an audience and people like it. And, I make synthesized music and like to rap and stuff too. But I want to highlight, bands, 3-person, 4-person, 5-person, 6-person or more bands that actually have the talent and the ability to get along. But obviously I love rock music. There's a huge outlet for it still. It's just not as popular as it used to be. And that's in essence where Pit Police comes from. So we're going to work on that. And then just anything else, just I guess me and my line just talking about random ass BS that probably has to do with what we're doing. But training pit bulls, finding a home for these dogs, finding a home for animals in general. I like animals more than humans. There's no doubt to that. Finding a spot to talk about what I want to talk about with my friends, my family, and give people a voice for the voiceless, even though we're not really voiceless. We're just talking. And in the rock and roll shows. So it's going to be a big aspect, out of what we're doing. As we go, I also want to look into comedy shows. Start highlighting comedy. Seems like there's a big resistance to people being able to just say things to get a laugh. Politically correct, cancel culture. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't like it at all. I think we should have the ability to give ourselves free speech, and if you don't like it, don't listen to it. Don't go after people because they said something you don't like. So we'll start looking into comedy as well. Everything I'm talking about feels really good. Friends, family, rock and roll, comedy, free speech, laughing, having a good time. So this is the first video that I'm putting up there. I doubt anybody's actually going to listen to the fullest extent, but we're going to be putting content on here, and by we're, I mean me and anybody else that's actually down. So first video of the podcast series, Pit Police. It should become Pit Police Productions. We'll see if that's available. If it's not, I'll stick to what I got. But for myself, Bella, Riley, my two pits, and Harry, my black cat upstairs. Appreciate it if you listen this far. Look forward to seeing you again. All right, here's the first video.